We'll call the meeting to order at 4 o'clock. When we start, please, with the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you mind leading us, Commissioner Webster?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. We already did our call to order, so quick roll call. All commissioners are present, and we have one visitor, Michelle Fossum, an attorney, to interview with us shortly. There is no old business, so we will skip that. Our new business, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the minutes. They were online. I looked at them. I didn't see any issues. To entertain a motion to approve the minutes of February 8th.
I move to approve the minutes from February 8th.
I second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatcher and second by Commissioner Webster. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay. Next, we'd like to interview you. We have 6 questions we're going to ask. We ask that of every candidate to make sure that we're being fair to everybody the same. And what we'll do is ask you to come to the podium there, Michelle, if you wouldn't mind. We'll start here with Commissioner Webster and we will go from there. Make sure that mic is on. There's a button on top and a green light should come on.
Like we're good.
You didn't know we were going to challenge you technically to start with, but
That's all right. This much I've got.
Mr. Webster.
Great. Yeah. The first question, what compelled you to consider this position?
I think one of the reasons that I so enjoy this type of work and this position in particular is that issues relating to employment and the rules and regulations seem to be changing really rapidly over the last 3 to 5 years. And it is exciting for me to keep up with that and then also make sure that my clients are aware of those so that they can act appropriately as they're making decisions.
Great. Thank you. The second question, what motivated you to become an attorney?
Oh boy, now you get secret information. So when I was in high school, my social studies class did a recreation of the Nuremberg trials. And I was assigned to be a defense attorney. I didn't really take the project all that seriously at the time. And so the first week, the student that had been assigned to be the prosecuting attorney was a foreign exchange student who was absolutely fascinated with the idea of international law, and he was ready and pretty well embarrassed me in front of all of my classmates. But I'm competitive. And so in the week in between the two, I decided to do all of the work that I probably should have done in the first place. And we had a good back and forth for the second round of the trial. And I found in doing that I just really, really liked it. I'm competitive, and I like to do a good job, and it was all very interesting to me, and I like to help people. So it all kind of fell into place. I did have a minor change of plans when I started college because I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not sure I want to do 7 years of school, and I just graduated. So I was going to be a dental assistant when I first started, but that wasn't the right place for me. So I started taking law in the legal process, and just that was where I was meant to be. I felt comfortable. I loved the work. I was one of those students that everybody was mad at because I'd done the homework ahead, because I just really liked what I was doing. And it was full speed ahead from there.
Thank you.
Next question is, we've seen your resume and know you've had some experience working with civil service, but what is your experience working with civil service commissions? Have you had any?
Only a little bit, in all honesty. I have had cases involving civil service commissions. The one that comes to mind, I did some work years and years and years ago with the city of Davenport and their Civil Service Commission. But my experience more is in just ongoing, pardon me, employment issues, representing both employers and employees, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, litigation, all those things surrounding employment.
Okay, good. What about your practice makes you the most proud?
We help people. Every day, we are able to make lives better for people and answer questions and give direction. And every day is different. And that's what makes me proud.
Great. Commissioner Hatcher.
Without really going into names and places, what was your most difficult case and why?
Actually, the one that comes to mind first, I had several cases during the pandemic where I was advising employers that had employees who, for religious reasons or medical reasons, could not be vaccinated. And these were good employees who needed their positions. And yet there were governmental mandates that required vaccinations. And so navigating that was really, really difficult because there were no bad guys. There was just a bad situation.
Thank you. What would you say your approach is like in the courtroom?
I would say it changes depending on the situation. The conventional wisdom is that but juries decide cases in the first 10 or 15 minutes. And they make those judgments in part on how they feel about the attorney for a given side. So it's really important to have rapport and trust. And that's challenging to do in the 10 or 15 minutes as people are deciding whether they like you or not. But overall, I think a commitment to the truth and the facts and integrity are my approach in the courtroom.
Thank you.
Do you have questions for us?
I do. Probably not surprising to anyone, but what do you see as the biggest challenges facing your commission in the years to come?
From my perspective, it's twofold. One is we are new. The city has had a public service commission, but it kind of went away out of atrophy, frankly, because it wasn't being utilized for the police department. So we've reinstated that and reinvigorated it. And I think that's a big challenge for us because we are learning as we go, and the police department is learning as it goes about what we're supposed to do. The specifics of civil service, I think the most difficult thing would be for me is dealing with disciplinary or dismissal issues, particularly if an officer appeals discipline or being dismissed. I think that's going to be the most difficult part, and that's where we will most need the legal advice. Other comments?
No, that's definitely.
I would agree with you.
What are the most important things to the three of you as far as the attorney that you want to work with?
I really liked what you said about truth and integrity, especially when we're dealing with situations like this, where you need to take and separate yourself out and look at the disciplinary action, and having somebody who can give us really strong, good guidance with very, very much clarity moving forward. For me, that would be the most important piece, is just knowing we have you to provide that to us.
Yeah, for me, I think is having an attorney who's a real person. That has character and personality and is real. I see the facades on TV all the time of what attorneys are, and most of that is Hollywood, I'm sure. But I think finding an attorney who knows the law and is willing to learn more about what we do and being a real person and genuine.
I'd say for me, probably someone who's patient, definitely with us, hashing out stuff. Also with, in this case, the police department, knowing that there's that threshold of just being big enough that now they fall under the RCWs where they need to have one. And yet the employees, what I'm finding, they don't know anything about civil service. They don't know that there is someone other than a union that's there to back them, that may go to bat for them. They just don't, no one knows what they do. It's like we're in this never land. And so that would help to have an attorney that was really patient to explain all that to them if it comes to the time that they would need one. So probably someone who's patient, I would think.
Mhm.
Okay.
You indicated that you're new, and I see, because I looked at the police department website before I came, and looks like they're hiring. So do you have all of your rules and regulations and things in place already, or is that something that needs to be relooked at as you reinvigorate the commission?
Great question, because we are having to redo the commission rules, the civil service rules. They were last revised in 2017. And so we're having to go through that and just revise those rules. And that's something we'll probably want to get a legal opinion on once we get it together ourselves. We're just having to go through things, because there are things in there like before, the law only required a civil service commission to meet once a quarter. Now we have to meet monthly. So we have to change minor things like that, but there are some other minor legal issues that we'll have to deal with that we'll need a legal opinion on once we get them to that point.
And
But
then,
other than that, I think we're pretty clear. The RCWs are pretty straightforward.
Mhm.
As you probably already know, the contract with the police guild, the terms and conditions in those contracts many times supersede civil service. It sets aside some civil service rules. So we have a copy of the guild's contract, and we are going through that as well, just to make sure that we're not stepping on any toes there. And there's not going to be a lot of hiring activity. But as this city continues to grow, they're going to have to hire more law enforcement. We hired 2 this year already. Don't plan to hire any more this year. There will probably be some promotions, but those are the kind of things that we're really dealing with on the surface.
Okay. And is it your preference to have your attorney attend your meetings monthly or only on an as-needed basis?
I think only on an as-needed basis. I don't, most of the things we do, many of our meetings last 5 minutes.
Okay.
We have to meet, but we really don't have a whole lot that we have to deal with most meetings. But I don't think that would be a good use of any attorney's time.
Okay.
I think it's when we need the legal advice, need somebody to sit in, like on a disciplinary hearing, that kind of thing.
Those were the questions that I had thought about before I got here.
Great.
Thank you.
Anything else, anybody?
Mhm.
Thank you for your time. We're glad you made the time to come here. Noticed you were out of the office this week. I assume you're on vacation.
Well, I was forced to go to Las Vegas and watch Gonzaga play basketball.
Oh,
So that's where I was. And it was a wonderful time with the exception of the 2 losses.
Yeah.
So,
I understand. Well, thank you for being here. What we'll do is we will deliberate, make a decision. I'll be back in touch with you about where we are.
Sounds great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nice to
Thank
meet you all.
you.
You too.
I assume we don't have anybody on Zoom. We didn't give out any Zoom address anyway, so we don't have any public comments. So we'll do that. Would you guys want to deliberate now or do it in the next meeting, or how would you like to do it?
I'm fine doing it now.
Yeah.
I think
Since it's fresh, it's
Yeah.
probably best.
What do you think?
I mean, I think it's fine. I like what she had to say. Even though she doesn't have a lot of experience in it, I think she's got a lot of motivation to learn about it.
Yeah, and that was one thing that I found as I did the search for the other civil service, is that there is a plethora of employment lawyers in the area. No one has civil service experience because it's this redheaded stepchild, like no one knows about it. And so, and to think there's only so many, right? Only so many things in this county are demanded to have a civil service.
Right.
So those lawyers, no civil service, and barely anyone else does as far as actual experience being one. So that limits the playing field. I'm not saying just like, oh, you just pick someone willy-nilly because, there's no one else to choose from. But everyone that you would pick would say, I need to learn. So that should not be
Mhm.
a deal breaker, because
Yeah.
you're not going to find someone that say, oh yeah, other than one person that I know has 35 years of civil service experience and is no longer doing that, but he was the only one in the county for a long time.
Mhm.
So at that point, you would still have to have that everyone that we'd bring in would need to learn civil service, which
Mhm.
is fine,
Mhm.
because her competitiveness tells me that she would dive right in and she would crush it trying to
Mhm.
get it under her belt as fast as possible. So I
Mhm.
think that she's a great option.
And I do think it's really good that she has a strong history in employment law, especially going through pandemic, because that was a very strange set of circumstances that brought out many things that we never thought we'd have to bring questions
Exactly.
about. So, I mean, I think her flexibility shows in that.
Well, and I had to admit, I'm a little prejudiced because I got referred to her by a close friend who's a retired attorney
Mhm.
that I have a great deal of respect for. And so I am talking to her on the phone. I was impressed on the telephone.
Mhm.
So I'm a little prejudiced, I have to admit. And I've been thinking about, do we bring in 5 or 6 and interview them? I wanted to do them one at a time, but I think we may have hit the jackpot with the first one
Mhm.
personally.
If there was any inkling of like, maybe there's someone better out
Mhm.
there, if something she said was kind of a red flag, I'd be like, oh, let's keep searching. I think at this point, for us as a commission to move forward, we need a lawyer yesterday.
I agree.
Because we've had this revolving door of, well, we can't do that until we have legal. Okay, well, how do we get legal? Okay, so same thing. If there was anything that any of us saw or heard that we're like, I just don't know, then I'd say let's keep searching. But I do think that if she seems to be the candidate for us, then we just need to stop searching now. You can't always fire them. It's not like this is forever.
True.
If we found, okay, she is not representing us well,
Right.
or we're asking her to study up on XYZ because she is going to be delivering that to us and she doesn't deliver, then we say, okay, then maybe we need to move on and find someone
Mhm.
else. Yeah,
Well,
that
and-
process would be.
And she
not
did,
fun, but-
she did tell me we would not need to put her on retainer. She would only charge us hourly. So
Mhm.
we will, if we all agree, then we'll get a contract drawn up and have HR review it before we sign it.
Yeah, because I had in my notes that Kyle was gonna work on that contract, something about the contract for the
Oh,
attorney.
yeah, he did say he would, didn't he?
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him about it, but I'll see, and she may already have something that she uses that we could use as a template anyway,
Right.
so I'll check on that. So
Did she mention in your conversation her hourly rate?
she did not,
Okay.
and I didn't ask because I didn't think we were far enough along.
True, yeah.
But what I'll do is I will call her. Actually, I won't call her tomorrow. I'll email her and then have her call me because
Mhm.
I don't have her phone number. But except her office, and she's out this week. I'll get in touch with her tomorrow, and then before I say yay or nay, I'll ask her, there's one question we didn't ask you, what is your hourly rate? And if it's outrageous, we'll come back. And to me,
Okay.
outrageous is, if it's over 500 an hour, that's outrageous.
Yeah, the going rate that I found in my research was 250 to 350.
That's what I
I
found
had
too.
heard 350 was
Yeah,
about the going
yeah,
rate.
so at that point, yeah, if it's 500,
Mhm.
then
Yeah.
It's not all about the money, but we are all three taxpayers here.
Yeah.
And we are, doing this for our community as well. So, want to be fiscally responsible.
Well, and I did tell her on the phone that I said, I think at the most, we may need you 10 to 20 hours a year.
That's probably true.
So I'll entertain a motion then.
I make a motion that we extend an offer to Michelle as the attorney for the Civil Service Commission.
Yeah, I second that motion.
Offer motion by Commissioner Hatcher, second by Commissioner Webster. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. I'll hear a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
I will second that.
Hatcher Webster again. What a duo. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.